Hey, what's up, YouTube? How's it going, guys? Let me pull up my Instagram feed here. Okay, something's changed here. How's everybody doing? Something has really changed on Instagram. That's weird. Sorry, guys. Trying to figure my stuff out here. Lithuania. Welcome, brother. Nova Scotia, Canada. Oh yeah, the podcast with Levi. It was a good episode. He's a cool guy. Okay, so there was a Facebook or an Instagram update or something. Everything's changed. I'm trying to figure out how to go live on here, and it's very it's different, basically. Give me a moment here, guys. So weird. It's almost like I can't go live on there anymore. It's very strange. All right, I'm gonna try one more thing that I'm giving up on Instagram. It's really weird. There we go. It was all right. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Hey, what's up, Instagram? All right, guys. Was having difficulty navigating the update on Instagram how to go live. So here we are. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'm Johnathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can magnetize your ideal life. And today I'm going to be talking about male multiple orgasms and how you can achieve them, right? First of all, I want to announce that my 6-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man, is currently open for registration. On YouTube, there's a link in this video description. On Instagram, there's a link in my bio to find out more information about my Multi-Orgasmic Man 6-week course. This is a guide to help men last longer in bed, channel their sexual energy, live their semen retention lifestyle, have orgasms without ejaculating, and be a sexual kung fu master, basically. So, all right. We're talking about male multiple orgasms. So there's kind of this misconception that for men can only have ejaculatory orgasms. That's the only type of orgasm men can experience. You know, I certainly thought this was the case for the first 20-something years of my life. And when I got introduced to the works of Montauk Chia and some other, tantric teachers, Taoist sexual practice teachers, I discovered that it's possible for men to have orgasms without ejaculating. And of course, I was very interested in this concept because I was having some, sexual issues in my life. I always felt really exhausted after ejaculating. Sometimes I had like physical pains in my body after an ejaculation. And I was starting to realize that this was depleting me. As I started reading about yoga, tantra, Taoist practices, I realized that ejaculations deplete our vital essence. When a man ejaculates, he has to go through that recovery period, which sucks because you can't keep having sex. You have to, uh, you're basically in that depleted, fatigued state, sometimes for days after an ejaculation, right? So obviously the value for a man in learning to have non-ejaculatory orgasms and multiple non-ejaculatory orgasms is that you never have to experience that refractory period after an ejaculation, at least not regularly. You may choose to ejaculate from time to time, and that's fine. But overall, this doesn't have to be your primary experience of sex, right? Which really, really liberates you. First of all, it massively improves your sexual vitality and your libido because, again, when a man ejaculates, his testosterone decreases because prolactin is released into the bloodstream, which inhibits testosterone. You lose a lot of zinc, you lose a lot of nutrients, you lose your vital energy with every ejaculation. So when you're doing this every day, you're basically living in a depleted state. And once you stop, at least cut back on the amount of ejaculations you have, you will notice that you feel much more energized, much more driven, much more confident. You feel like more of a man, right? So this is really what interested me in learning about how to have non-ejaculatory orgasms, multiple orgasms, and is really what got me into semen retention as well. I didn't get into semen retention because, I was just like, oh, I want to, well, I should say that the goal for me wasn't necessarily semen retention. Semen retention happened naturally because I was learning to have non-ejaculatory orgasms. I was doing Qigong, yoga, meditation, cultivating my energy, and it naturally drew me to go longer and longer periods of time without ejaculating, right? So that's kind of the what and the why, right? So let's talk about the how for a little bit. I pound my smoothie here. Also, I'm heading to Sedona tomorrow. I'm going to be in Sedona, Arizona for the next week. One of my favorite places in the world. Really excited. Going to be doing a lot of hiking, doing a sweat lodge, doing some tours. It's going to be really awesome. So it's vacation time for me next week. All right. So how does a man experience these non-ejaculatory orgasms and orgasm without ejaculating? And you can have multiple of these, right? So again, orgasm, ejaculation, two different processes that happen to occur at the same time. And with a little practice, a little training, and some rewiring of your body, your nervous system, you can experience orgasm without ejaculating. Now, first of all, let's get clear. Most guys become very attached to this certain idea and experience of an orgasm. The ejaculatory orgasm, it's very intense, but it's very short-lived. It has that like sharp beginning. Oh, I'm in it. It feels good. And then, oh, it's over and I'm drained. I'm tired. So it's a peak orgasm. It's a very short-lived but intense orgasm. You can have non-ejaculatory orgasms that are peak orgasms, but usually these just aren't that impressive compared to, what's known as valley orgasms, these deep states of orgasm that can be sustained for very long periods of time. And it's going to feel different. It's going to feel much different than an ejaculatory orgasm in the beginning. And there's a tendency to overlook this. It's also important to understand that this isn't something you can force yourself into. Most men have a habit of forcing themselves into ejaculatory orgasms. During sex, they're really going for it. They're tensing up their bodies. They're shallow, or their breath gets very shallow. They're really goal oriented on like, I need to thrust my way into this orgasm. You really can't get into the full body orgasm, the valley orgasm state in that mindset, right? This is kind of the fight or flight mindset. When you're really tense, when you're really, forceful, you're often getting yourself into that fight or flight state. The sympathetic nervous system switches on, which also controls your ejaculation response. That's a function of the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. So when you're in that fight or flight kind of problem solving consciousness, and really, trying to get somewhere with force, you're going to miss out on that full body orgasm experience. So here's something that I want to share with you guys you can use to start feeling these deeper states of orgasm, right? So first of all, it's super important that you feel relaxed. You don't feel like there's anywhere you need to be like right away. So have like some time where you can just relax. That's the most important thing is get into a relaxed state, because if you're tense, if you're forceful, if you're in that problem solving fight or flight consciousness, then you're going to approach it like you're trying to solve a problem. The problem is I'm not having an orgasm, right? And you're going to try to force your way into it. And again, that doesn't work. You can't really get into this full body orgasmic state in that fight or flight mode, in that problem solving consciousness. So you have to relax. So that's the first step, is get yourself into a really relaxed state. Maybe go for a walk, maybe take a hot shower, a bath, whatever. Lay on the ground for a while, just relax, do some progressive relaxation, and then get into your sexual stimulation. And it's very important that, again, you keep that you focus primarily on relaxation and breathing when you're stimulating, whether you're by yourself or with a partner. It's often good to train by yourself because you don't have that pressure of being with a partner, right? So you're stimulating yourself. Focus on relaxing and breathing. You'll notice, as men, we have this habit. As soon as we feel sexual pleasure, we tend to like tense up, like, oh, that feels good, I need more. And then you stimulate harder, and then you're all tense, and you actually lose that full body orgasm state by tensing up, right? So you focus on staying relaxed. Breathe deep, breathe slowly, breathe into your belly. Use the breath to relax your body. Especially keep your pelvic floor relaxed. When you squeeze your pelvic floor a lot, you activate the muscles of the pelvic floor connect to the sympathetic nervous system, so you activate the fight or flight response by squeezing those muscles a lot, right? So relax. And then as slowly build the pleasure. Don't just like stimulate yourself like you usually do. Slow it down. Stimulate your whole body. Get your whole body. Like, how would you want a partner to touch you, right? So take it slow, mindfully. Really build the arousal instead of just intensifying the stimulation. And once your arousal starts to increase, you'll feel, that pressure building in your genitals. Place your awareness in your belly center, like really, really keep primarily focused on your belly, relax. And as that arousal increases, see if you can draw it up into your belly. You start to get that like butterflies sort of feeling in your belly. Maybe think about, you can use a bit of fantasy, but also use like positive emotions. Use the feeling of love, the feeling of gratitude. When you feel that, you start to get that butterflies in your stomach and your heart. The sexual energy starts to build up. And the closer that you get to the point of no return, the point at which you would ejaculate, the more important it is to stay relaxed, slow down the stimulation. And as that arousal increases, keep relaxing more and more, focusing on the belly, focus on your heart space, feel the energy. You'll feel it start to rise up and almost like start vibrating in your belly, vibrating in your chest, relax more and more. So it's kind of a game between, keeping up the stimulation enough that you stay aroused, but not stimulating too much to where you're going to ejaculate. You have to keep breathing deeply, and keep relaxing your body. So it's a very meditative practice, really, right? And you'll find that you start to get into these very orgasmic states. You can use a bit of sound as well, exhale a moaning sound. That helps to relax your belly, relax your body, and move the arousal throughout your body. So again, make sure you set enough time to really have, the space to do this, be able to relax and take your time with this, because it takes time to build up into these orgasmic states. But make sure if you get really, really close to the point of no return, slow down the stimulation or stop completely and just breathe and just feel your belly center, feel your heart center. You'll feel this move into your body. And again, you can keep doing this over and over. So you're starting to build up into these full body orgasm states. Again, it's not going to be, in the very beginning, it's probably not going to be as intense as an ejaculatory orgasm, but with time, as you open up the body, open up your awareness and your skill with this practice, your ability to relax and stay focused in your body, then you will significantly improve these non-ejaculatory orgasms to where they build up into these almost like cosmic orgasms where your whole body's pulsating, your awareness is like shooting out of your body. This is very, very powerful. And of course, when you're doing this with a partner, it's only intensified and amplified many, many times. So that's kind of how you do this. And so it takes a bit of practice, a bit of training, but that's what sexual kung fu is all about. And if you really want a shortcut to all this, to really get into these non-ejaculatory orgasm states, because we often have a lot of blockages to this as men. We have a lot of emotional blockages. We're often very tense in our bodies. You need to really open up your body and the energy channels to really get into these full body orgasm states. And that's exactly what the focus of my 6-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man, is. You learn how to clear tension from your body, clear old traumas, negative beliefs, things like that. You really learn to clear the things that are holding you back from being a multi-orgasmic man. Then you learn how to build up your energy, open the energy channels of the body with breath work, with qigong, ground your sexual energy, and really learn to circulate the sexual energy throughout your body, and how you can integrate this in with a partner to last for hours in bed. So that's what I'm going into depth on in my 6-week course. Registration is open right now until next Monday, the 19th. So again, there's a link in this video on YouTube. There's a link in my Instagram bio. Find out more information there. This course will change your life. It's very transformative. So, all right, I'm going to answer some questions now. I see a lot of questions for coming in. Thanks for joining me, guys. It's always good to hang out with you guys and see what's going on. Let me take a little drink of my smoothie here. So feel free to send in your questions. My opinion about Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat. I've never used it, so I don't have much of an opinion about it. I looked at Instagram models. Is that a semen retention relapse? I don't use the word relapse. That's not really a concept that I have. If you consider it a relapse, then it's a relapse. If you don't consider it a relapse, then it's not a relapse. You know, I wouldn't be too obsessive about this. What age did I start semen retention? It was 2013, so 7 years ago. So I was 24 years old. Wow, it's been a while. I'm 31 now. Okay, what's my insight about the fluid that looks like semen that comes after peeing? Is that normal? Is it bad for energy? Can I stop it? It happens after about 9 days. So are you saying you're losing a bit of seminal fluid when you urinate? This isn't a huge deal. Again, when you're practicing retention, sometimes, you know, you'll have like, some guys have, when they have a bowel movement, a little bit of semen leaks out, or when they urinate, a bit comes out. I wouldn't worry about it too much, because what happens is a lot of fluid starts to build up. Sometimes it builds up in the prostate, especially if you've been aroused a lot, you'll have this buildup of prostatic fluid. Sometimes that's what's releasing. So don't over obsess about it. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. Practicing retention with a girlfriend is difficult. Do you have any recommendations for us? That's the real test, isn't it? It's one thing to do this on your own, but it's another thing to be in a relationship, be having sex, and be able to retain your semen. My first recommendation is don't be too obsessive about it. You know, make sure that you have kind of a harmonious boundary with this with your partner, right? And what I really encourage you to do is train on your own, train in the sexual kung fu practices that I'm teaching, right? It's much easier to learn this work on your own than during sex with a partner. So basically what you do is you're studying the sexual kung fu practices, you're opening up your energy channels, you're learning to breathe, to relax during sex, and have these non-ejaculatory orgasms. So you train on your own, like a martial artist would. You don't wait till you get into a fight. You train ahead of time. Same thing with sex. You train ahead of time. And then when you're with your partner, you have the skill developed because you're training daily on your own, and you're able to make it effortlessly happen during sex. That's what I'm really teaching in my course, is how to do this stuff. So you really have to train ahead of time, right? Opinion on watching porn without ejaculating, is it still bad? To me, it's almost as harmful, definitely. You know, I tried this in the beginning, like, well, if I just watch porn, I don't ejaculate, maybe it's fine, but it still completely messes up your brain chemistry, messes up your energy. To me, it just felt like this, it built this false heat, and I felt it like rise up into my head, and I had headaches. I would have like obsessive sexual thoughts, and it personally don't get anything positive out of watching porn. So I chose to no longer do it. So that's my take on that. Are there any kinds of herbs that can help slow down the response? I think you're talking about the ejaculatory response. Taking, calming herbs. I would avoid caffeine if you tend to, get sexually overexcited, because caffeine overstimulates you, it puts you in the fight or flight mode. I would avoid stimulants. Take relaxing things. Things that adaptogens, ashwagandha, calming things, chamomile tea, things like that. Anything that's calming is going to help you get into that parasympathetic state and avoid premature ejaculation, basically. What's the main difference between the tantric and the Taoist methods? Good question. There's a lot of, I would say that a lot of the Tantra tradition is there's a lot of work with like deities. You're kind of like embodying Shiva and Shakti, and there's a lot of this kind of, very mystified element to it. And I would say less emphasis on grounding, right? Usually it's about raising up the energy, raising up the Kundalini, and just letting that happen. Whereas in Taoism, it's very, very practical. Taoists, I mean, there's many, many, many hundreds, maybe thousands of different Taoist systems, but typically what I see is that they don't really work with deities. The Taoists work more with like natural, we could say higher yin yang forces like the sun, the moon, the earth. These are these natural sort of deities, right? They're because we have this connection with them. We have this direct connection with the sun, with the moon. When you're working with these deities, these are things that people were working with thousands of years ago, and it's a little more removed from what's happening in the here and now. But when you're working with these natural forces, sun, moon, earth, it's a bit more direct, right? But in general, the Taoists really stress effortlessness and grounding, keeping the energy grounded within your body, not just trying to raise it up and blast it out, to an out of body experience, but bringing it back down and grounding and really embodying that. But there's many, many different schools with many different methods, but I think that's just a very, very basic explanation of that. Thoughts on Tongkat Ali and Maca? They're great. Tongkat Ali is a testosterone booster. I prefer Tribulus. I forget what the second word is. That's another good one. Maca root is fantastic. I have maca root often. It's a semen booster. It improves your fertility, improves your sexual energy. So I love maca. Where's the male G spot? The male G spot is the prostate. That's the male G spot. And men can have very, very powerful full body orgasms just with prostate. Working with the prostate can actually really help you to rewire yourself to have these non-ejaculatory orgasms as well. That could be kind of a shameful, maybe homophobic thing for a lot of guys, but there's, any area of your body, there's nothing inherently shameful about feeling pleasure in anywhere in your body. So it can be very, very beneficial to work with the prostate as a man to increase your orgasmic experience and sexual, overall sexual fulfillment. What do I do about blue balls? Blue balls means that your energy is stuck. So a lot of guys are doing semen retention and they're not circulating the energy. They're not doing any internal practices. In my opinion, semen retention should only be done if you're also doing internal practices. You're doing meditation, qigong type exercises to channel energy throughout your body, or else what happens is you build up this massive energy in your genitals and it just gets stuck, and you can have physical pain. You can amplify your negative emotions. It becomes unpleasant basically, right? So the remedy to blue balls is circulating your sexual energy. I do this by working with the microcosmic orbit, this main energy pathway up the back of the body, down the front. There's a practice called Tesco breathing where you breathe the sexual energy through that orbit. You move it through your body. This keeps it moving and keeps it from getting stagnant. So I think that's extremely important. Again, blue balls is a sign that your sexual energy is stuck. When having a full body orgasm, which part of the body feels it the most? It really depends. It's going to be different. For me, I feel it primarily in my belly and my heart. Sometimes it gets into my brain as well, just like, but yeah, it's different all the time. It's not going to be the same for everyone every time, for sure. Women usually like men to be vocal in bed, but I can't vocalize while my tongue is against the roof of the mouth. Necessary to hold the. So basically the question is, do I need to have the tongue against the roof of the mouth the whole time during sex? No, you don't need to have it there the whole time during sex. Don't be too obsessed about it, right? Just if you're consciously bringing it down front channel, then you can place the tongue there. But when you're exhaling and making a sound, yeah, just let the tongue move. It's not that big of a deal. You can also move the energy back down the back channel. Okay, here's a good question. Would a vasectomy be like a cheat code to semen retention? Yes and no. All right. I've worked with many men who've had vasectomies, and the thing is that yes, when you have a vasectomy, technically you're not losing any sperm when you have orgasms, but men with vasectomies have the exact same refractory period, the same exhaustion and fatigue after an ejaculatory orgasm, even though they're not losing semen. So what this shows you is that physically losing semen in ejaculation isn't the only thing. It's a discharge of your vital energy. And you also have, if you've had a vasectomy, these peak genital orgasms still cause that same release of prolactin that makes you feel lethargic. So it's equally valuable, in my opinion, for a man with a vasectomy to still do the sexual kung fu, non-ejaculatory practices. Come back to Asheville, do some hiking with you and your friends. I may possibly be doing a workshop in Asheville in the spring next year. We'll see. It depends how everything goes, but yeah, we'll see if that trying to make that happen. During sex, do you feel the energy cycling through the microcosmic orbit, or just when you need to move it away from the genitals? It depends. I'm not sure if you. Okay, so me personally, I may be focusing on different things during sex. Typically, I will, be focused on drawing the sexual energy up the back of the body, down the front, or just in general, just feeling other areas of my body, and the energy starts to move there. Often, naturally, I feel it moving up my spine, especially once things get heating up. I naturally feel this like energy just coming up my spine. It's very electrical. It's very pleasurable. So, yeah. How do you learn to have sex with the mind? But I think you're saying, but not the body. When I try value orgasm practices, soon after I get triggered and go to porn the same or the next day, it almost seems as an addiction. So this is really about rewiring your sexual response, rewiring your experience of sex. And that's why it's really important to do not just directly sexual practices, but a lot of emotional clearing work, a lot of clearing the body, right? This is why in my 6-week course, we spend the first few weeks learning clearing practices, qigong practices to build a new container for your energy and express your sexual energy in a different way before even getting into the aroused sexual practices, because it's difficult to just go straight into sexual work. It's difficult to go straight into working with aroused sexual energy and expect to change your habits. You need to do some foundational work first, right? This is the only thing I personally found to be effective, and that's how I structure my training. So that's my recommendation for you: is do more work, do more meditation work, do more kind of shadow clearing work, do more internal energy work before you start to before you try to do the directly sexual work if you're struggling with this. Wondering about buying the Tet Raw pendulum made by Jason Quitt. What's your opinion and experience with it? Would you recommend it? I mean, like any external tool, it has its value. It definitely kind of expands, and it has this very yang rising up effect of energy, which I need to be careful with, right? So, don't get too obsessed about external things. Don't think like, if I buy this, this pendant, this crystal, whatever, it's going to change everything in my life. The only power these things have is the power we give them. I bought it because I think it looks cool. It's made out of gold and elements, and I really resonate with some of the ancient Egyptian stuff, but I don't wear it all the time. I don't need it. I get much more energy and balance from my internal practice, my qigong practice and meditation. So I encourage you not to be overly obsessed with external things. If it attracts you and you want to buy it, go for it. But if it's like, don't get too obsessed over it, I would say. It's been a nice tool, but it hasn't like changed my life, Oh, and this goes right in line with that. So asking if I've done the Egyptian Qigong style that Jason Quitt teaches, some insights about it. I got his book on the Egyptian Qigong postures. I think it's really awesome, but I personally had to kind of unlock them because he gives very little description about like what to do or what to focus on during holding the postures. And I used my Qigong training, to activate the Dantian, activate the sinking of the Qi in the body, holding the postures, and it made them quite powerful for me. I found it quite similar to, in some ways, to Xing Yi Chuan, which is a traditional Chinese internal martial art. It's more geared towards internal cultivation than fighting, though it looks externally like a fighting powerful thing. But anyways, the practices are really awesome, though, especially if you have some internal skill of Qigong, because he doesn't give a lot of description in the book about the actual internal engagements. What does it mean when the pussy put you to sleep? Well, it's yin. You're absorbing yin energy, so it balances you. It can calm you down, right? Any tips for not being super lustful on semen retention? Have a strong sexual transmutation practice. Meditate every day, move your chi every day, work out, exercise, put your energy into creative projects. Basically, you have to have a lot of things you're putting the sexual energy into, or else it will want to be expressed strictly as, lustful sexual expression. So it's about being able to be okay with that strong sexual drive, but at the same time be able to put it into other things that are a little more, we could say, productive, right? Not that there's anything wrong with having sex, but if that's all you're focused on, yeah, it's going to cause you some imbalances. But again, channeling the sexual energy is most important. What is your best tip on clearing the microcosmic orbit? I try to focus on the points in my breathing when doing meditation, but I never feel a flow of energy through my body. Maybe there's a block. More commonly, you don't have your lower dantian developed, and so you don't really have any juice to put through the orbit. That's very common. So I suggest that you work first with building the lower dantian. Check out my video, #1 exercise to build energy, on YouTube. It's a practice to build the lower dantian. What this does, the lower dantian is basically your battery of your body. It's your energetic center. It's the center of your gravity. It's in the belly. When you sink the qi, sink the jing into the lower dantian, you're basically filling it up with energy. You're filling your battery, and now you actually have something to run through the microcosmic orbit, and then you'll feel it. So that's my recommendation. What do you recommend after finishing your course? Keep perfecting those practices, or is there a next step? Definitely keep working and perfecting the practices. It's not something you're going to master in 6 weeks. Something you want to practice for years and months, and years. But if you've taken the course, you want to go to the next level, I suggest Immortal Energy Arts, which is it's a in-depth school I've opened up, training in Qigong, deeper energy cultivation, Tai Chi, some different practices. So really, really taking the energy work to the next level, and that will boost your sexual work as well. Here's a good question. What are your thoughts on semen retention as birth control for men? I wouldn't rely primarily on it. So I personally have used semen retention as birth control for many years. However, because I'm very cautious, I don't want an unexpected pregnancy. When my partner is around her ovulation period, we use a condom because I want to be careful, right? So that's my recommendation, is if you're going to use it as birth control, first of all, make sure you know your body, because if you get too close to the point of ejaculation, sometimes you have these little spasms in your prostate and you're like, oh, well, I didn't actually ejaculate, but these can release small amounts of semen, and that can cause a pregnancy, right? So you really, really want to be careful is what I'm saying. Do you meditate? Can you describe your practice? If so, yes, I meditate every day for about 45 minutes to an hour. I've been training in Taoist Neigong and Neidan internal alchemy practices, which are, it's structured systems of meditations. I'll talk about some of the basic meditations that I started with, right? I do just what's called mind fasting, where thoughts enter your mind, you just release them, and you just keep releasing your mind. Observe your thoughts as they arise, just release them. That's kind of a basic meditation, but can really get you into some profound, peaceful states. And that's kind of the foundation for meditating, is being able to clear your mind. From there, I moved to, I would call it breath watching, where you're not you're not forcing the breath. You're not making yourself breathe. You're simply observing. So you start with your awareness at your nostrils and you start to move it to the sinuses, the throat, just feeling the breath move in and out. And then, spending a few minutes at each area, move down to the chest, and then slowly making your way down to the belly center, the lower dantian. So it starts to settle your mind down into your center, into the lower dantian, and you start to build it. So things like that. And then now I'm doing more, Nadon practices, internal alchemy, and some different things like that. So when you have sex, you just stop and call it good. Well, there's a sense of completion when my partner and I are having sex. It's not just like we're going crazy and just like, oh, I guess we'll stop now. There's often a sense of completion. Maybe we've had, it just becomes a dance, and when you're with a partner, you're doing these deep sexual practices, you really get in sync with each other. And you can just feel when you've reached completion, like maybe I have a powerful full body orgasm or my partner has a really powerful orgasm. Usually we have orgasms together because you get into resonance with each other. It's just like you feed off of each other's orgasm. It's very powerful. And then there's just usually a point where it's like, yeah, we feel complete. And then we just kind of lie together, passively exchange the energy together. So we'll meditate connected for, another 5 to 10 minutes and then be like done with it, right? So it's not just like you're thrusting away and then it's like, well, we're done. I'm going to go do the dishes now. It's very fluid, right? All right, guys, so I can't get to every single question. There's a lot of questions, but I'm just kind of picking and choosing what I think are the most relevant ones. So sorry if your question's not getting answered. I'm not ignoring you. I just, can only answer so many. Do you think Montauk Chia will live forever? I don't know. Whoever, nah, I'm not gonna say that, but we'll see if he lives forever. I don't know if he has that skill or not. We'll see. Did I miss your webinar? It was 2 days ago. So if you weren't there, then yes. Is rhodiola rosea good? Yeah, rhodiola is a great gene booster, great sexual energy booster, nourishes the adrenals, and builds your sexual energy. How do you stimulate the heart chakra while practicing sexual kung fu? Just you sink your awareness into the heart center. It's like you're sinking down here. Place your awareness here and just hold your mind in that spot and feel the emotions of gratitude, of care, of love. Feel those emotions while focused here. You'll activate your heart space. And you can breathe the sexual energy up at your heart as well. When you're doing this with a partner, very, very, very powerful. Can you do sustained hard thrusting and still do retention, or can you only do it slow? No, you can definitely go hard if you develop that skill in ejaculation control, right? So it takes some practice, but for me, I like to vary it. Sometimes, we like just to thrust away, but I like to be dynamic where you go through kind of slow, gentle periods and then more intense periods, right? So it is possible to do that, but you have to develop your skill in ejaculation control. Okay. Two-part question. One, does my testosterone production increase the more I retain, or does it level off after a while and stay the same? And the second question is it necessary to edge and stimulate myself every week? Okay, so first of all, what's the testosterone relation in semen retention? Does it just keep increasing as you retain, or does it drop off? No, it does not keep increasing as you keep retaining. There's kind of a plateau with it, right? Testosterone level peaks 7 days in, goes up about 150%, and then it goes back down to about normal or a little bit above normal after that. So that's, and it actually tends to drop after a certain period of time. For some men, this is 30 days. For some men, it's 60 days. Some men, it's 3 months. Usually it's 3 months or less, though. Your testosterone actually starts to drop. And I think it's because the endocrine system just kind of starts to decline a bit. Definitely if you're celibate, if you're more engaged in sex and exercising the genitals, which I think you should be, your testosterone levels will probably be higher. But for me personally, I choose to do semen retention in cycles. I'll release every 4 to 6 weeks because I've experimented with different durations. I've gone longer, I've gone shorter, and I find that releasing after 4 to 6 weeks makes me feel the best in all ways possible. I feel the most balanced, I have the most energy without being like excessively energized, right? So that's my personal preference. So I encourage you to experiment and find what works best for you. The second question was, is it necessary to edge and stimulate yourself every week? It's not necessary, but it can be beneficial. The penis has reflexology connections to the entire body. So when the penis is being stimulated, you're getting a full body massage, and it stimulates your endocrine system. It stimulates your hormones. You start producing testosterone when you're sexually aroused. The problem is that when you ejaculate, the testosterone drops. So when you stimulate yourself without ejaculating, you can actually build your testosterone, your sexual energy that way. So again, to me, it's a use it or lose it situation. If you don't exercise and use your genitals, then your endocrine system may start to atrophy. Is masturbation better for practicing semen retention or with my partner? It depends what your goals are. If you're trying to learn to have non-ejaculatory orgasms and sex, then it's usually easier to learn that by yourself without the pressure of a partner, unless they're very supportive and they want to help you achieve that. In general, sex is more nourishing with a partner because there's a yin-yang exchange. When you're a man and you're just masturbating, you mostly only get yang energy, and you can still kind of nourish your body with that, but it's not as balancing as being with a partner where there's the yin-yang exchange. It's really good for you. It's balancing. It's good for your health. Do you know which soul group you belong to? Syrians, Pleiadians, Arcturians, or any other? I'm a bit of a hybrid. I'll say that. Got some Pleiadian, got some other spicy flavors. Can you explain the reflexology points, the penis for the different organs? Well, I can only go into so much depth with this right now, but basically, the penis is a microcosm of your body. So down here, this is a penis, okay? This is like the kidney zone, and then you get up into like liver, lungs, heart. Actually, I think heart's more at the tip. I'd have to look at the chart again because I kind of forget, but I know it's like, you think about it as your body. Your lower organs are going to be lower down. The higher organs, the pineal gland, up here more, right? So that's an easy way to remember. And the vaginal canal, the vagina, the yoni, aligns with those points as well. So when you're having sex, man and woman having sex, they're both getting reflexology massages of their sexual organs. One of the reasons we love sex so much, the whole body benefits. How long has it been since you last watched porn? Since I was like, I'm gonna watch some porn. It's been a long time. It's been years. I've seen porn because sometimes you're just browsing the internet and things happen. It's just like, oh shit, So I've seen it recently, but as far as like going out of my way to watch porn, it's been quite a while. Is sexual transmutation a real thing if you want to be successful, or does it not matter for some people like Wolf of Wall Street? In general, I would say yes, it is important if you want to be successful. And a lot of these people who are very successful, just because they don't outwardly speak about sexual transmutation, they often are very sexually driven people, and they're naturally channeling that energy into the things they're doing to be successful, right? So I would say yes, sexual transmutation is extremely important for success. I made a video about this. I think my last video was on, how you can use semen retention to manifest in your life. If you can't control your energy and you get sexual tension around everyone, it's important to have a practice where you're channeling learn to move the sexual energy throughout the body. So most men, they only know how to express sexual energy moving out of their genitals. They want to link up with someone through their genitals to move their sexual energy. So because they have all this tension in the rest of their body. So when you do practices like, yoga, meditation, qigong, you start to open up the body. And with specific sexual kung fu practices, you open up the channels flowing up and down the body so that you can move the sexual energy up in a new expression, so that you're not limited to being stuck in these like really obsessive sexual thoughts and things like that. You may feel the sexual arousal or the desire, but you're able to move it through your body and you can hold that charge. It doesn't control you anymore. Have I had a COVID-19 test? No, I have not had a COVID test. A lot of them are quite questionable. Most of them aren't very accurate. And, I'm not going to get into that right now, but no, I haven't had the test. Why is butter good for us? Doesn't it clog the arteries? Butter has a lot of healthy fats, really good for your nervous system, really good cholesterol that helps you kind of like, you think of like insulation for your nervous system. A lot of the yogis would have ghee, clarified butter, because it helped them to ground, it helped them to kind of insulate and hold this powerful charge of energy. It's really difficult to do a lot of like really ethereal energy work and be completely plant-based. I'm saying this from experience because you just don't get the same grounding, and you can get really ungrounded out there. It can burn out your adrenals. You get really, really thin and skinny. That's just my own experience. Everyone's body's different. No single diet is going to work for everyone. So it's important to learn to see what your body wants as far as food, basically. Should a person who just hit puberty start semen retention? Would it be too intense for them? What are your thoughts? So retention, say like the early teenage years, it's a good question. And, I'll just give maybe a bit of thought on this, that I wouldn't be too obsessed over it. Being a teenager, I would say it's good to avoid porn, and to build healthy sexual expressions. But teenagers have so much sexual energy that, trying to go like a month or two without ejaculating is probably not going to be realistic for most of them. It would be good to regulate their ejaculation frequency at least, but as far as like full on retention, it's probably not going to be realistic for most teenagers. I would say that like around age 20 is when that really starts becoming important, though. Do you think walking barefoot as often as possible better tunes you into the earth's energy? Your thoughts? In general, yeah. I don't recommend doing it when it's like really, really cold, because it'll actually pull energy out of your body. Your feet will feel really cold and you'll feel a bit tired. But if the weather's nice, then yeah, it's great to walk barefoot on the earth. Do you believe in listening to 432 hertz music? Is there any real benefit? It's an interesting thing. It's kind of this conspiracy theory, which a lot of these are just theories, right? That back in, I think it was towards the beginning of the previous century, basically everyone started the original tuning. The universal tuning we used for musical instruments was 432 hertz, but it was moved to 440 hertz. And the theory is that 432 hertz is more harmonious because, vibrations affect us. Our waters are made of body, and the vibrations change the structure of the water in our bodies, changing our health and our physical state, right? So is 442 a negative frequency? Is 432 more beneficial? I don't know. There's a lot of research suggesting it may be, so it's an interesting topic. I suggest you do your own research. It is a Jackson Dinky. I love that guitar. I'm 15. Can I be on semen retention, or will it harm me? Again, I talked about this a little bit ago. I only recommend doing semen retention if you have a way to channel and transmute that energy. So if you're doing like meditation, you're doing, opening up the energy channels of the body, giving that energy new outlets too. But if you start to feel like really angry, really irritable, really frustrated, then it may not be the best fit for you, right? So again, I believe semen retention should only be done if you are doing internal practices to do something with that energy instead of just allowing it to build up and become stuck. Okay. Tips to avoid. Okay. Tips helping with food allergies. I don't know if I'll be the best. I'm not a doctor, but I will say that it's good to eat a wide variety of things. Some people, especially if you're like the obsessive dieting type, you tend to be like, I can only eat this. I can never eat anything else but this. And when you eat the same things every single day, then it's like kind of like how your immune system, it's good for us to be exposed to different germs. It's good for us to be exposed to viruses. It builds our immune system. We have powerful immune systems. The same thing with your diet. It's good to be exposed to a lot of different foods, maybe in very small amounts, but it helps your body understand how to deal with these things. So if you only eat like, sprouts and tofu every day, anything else is going to like knock you out because you haven't built up a tolerance to it. So I heard the analogy of like, I'm a very health conscious. I eat very healthy, but someone put this analogy in, and I really like it. It's like, would you rather be the flower that needs, this certain food to survive, and if it has anything else, it droops over, it's dead? Or would you rather be like the weed that can kind of survive in any situation? And really, what I get from that is like, it's okay to like basically have these different foods, right? Kind of experiment with different things from time to time and just see what makes you feel the best. And you'll be less likely to have, I don't know how good of an answer that was, but that's kind of that. With meditation, I can open chakras. Yes, it depends what type of meditation you're doing, but in general, that will help you to open up your energy centers. You can work with my microcosmic orbit meditation that will align and balance all the chakras in the body. Do you think Wim Hof is good for transmitting sexual energy? I don't know, honestly, because sometimes that type of work, just doing like breath work and physical movement, it's great. It has a lot of benefit, but you don't necessarily develop internal energy skill with it, right? So it may or may not be transmitting your sexual energy. I've never done Wim Hof primarily, so I can't, speak from experience. Yeah, getting gut health, is really important as well. A lot of like food allergies is having trouble with different foods. You've got some, it's good to do like intestinal cleanses, do colonics, balance your gut bacteria. Very, very helpful. I get really aroused after working out. Why is this, and what do you suggest me to do with this energy? The body's releasing a lot of hormones when you work out, when you're lifting weights, whatever. You get all this testosterone and things like that, human growth hormones. So it's good for your health, but what you do with that energy is, again, you transmute it, meditate, do qigong. I love having both physical and internal practices, meaning I go to the gym, I work out, but I also meditate. I do qigong, I do tai chi, I move my chi through my body, I move my sexual energy so that I don't get overcome with sexual, obsessive sexual thoughts, right? So again, you have to put that energy into something else. The easiest and quickest way to release blue balls pressure. It's not easy to release once you have it. It's not difficult to get rid of it. The best thing is to avoid getting it in the first place, which is working with the testicle breathing practice, doing breath work, relaxing your body, things like that. Massage, doing testicle massages every day is important. Also, avoid contracting your pelvic floor when you're aroused, when you're sexually stimulating. I completely avoid contracting your pelvic floor. That can start to build up a lot of kind of fluid and tension in there and cause blue balls. Blue balls is tension. It's energy stuck. So once it's stuck, it's difficult to get it unstuck, right? You just have to wait. So the best thing is to avoid it getting stuck in the first place by circulating your energy, basically. Is it normal to feel the urge to use the bathroom when doing the Dantian building exercise? Yes, this is normal. You will have all kinds of weird sensations because on an energetic level, yeah, you're building your dantian, you're building all this jing and qi here, and on a physical level, it starts to change the tissues down here. Things start to expand, open up. It can clear out your intestines. So today, I was doing a dantian building practice, and I thought I had to take a poop, but it was just like dantian activity. So yeah, it's totally normal. Any tips to better visualize meditation to move the sexual energy? I recommend using less visualization and more actualization, actually feeling into your body. This is, I would say, kind of a common mistake that will limit you is only working through visualization type practices. This tends to make things happen only on a mental level, and there can be a disconnect from actually the results, the physical body, right? You need to have both in harmony. So instead of primarily using mental visualization, it's not going to get you that far. I primarily encourage you to use body awareness. So when I'm saying drawing the sexual energy up from your genitals, up the back of the body, up to the crown, I don't mean visualize it, see an image in your mind. I mean, feel your body. You soak your mind into your body. It's like liquid filling a sponge. So feel it in the genitals, and then you move it up the back of the body, almost feeling like there's water moving up your body, or like a steam or a mist. So the more body awareness you move into it, that's how you really move the chi. Do I use any fruits or green powders? I've been having, it's a Purium power shake. It's a really good one, a lot of different greens, wheatgrass juice, alfalfa grass, and different juices. I've been having that every morning. It's really awesome. I also take one from Dragon Herbs called Tonic Alchemy. It's like 91 different plants, superfoods, herbs, mushrooms, and a kind of a green powder. So I have that one as well. So those are my favorites. What are the healthiest means of cooking meats that you use? So when you're cooking meat, you want to avoid burning it. Like barbecuing, it's delicious, but it tends to burn the meat. It's all black, and that can become carcinogenic to your system. So slow cooking is a really great way to cook meats, or like stews, cooking in a soup. So I like to use a slow cooker or cook in like a stew, things like that. That's the healthiest way to cook meats. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. Again, my 6-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man, is open for registration right now. This course will help you to learn to clear stuck energy in your body, clear energy blockages, clear negative emotions and traumas, so that you can start to rewire your sexual experience, build your sexual energy, open up your channels to transmute your sexual energy through the body, experience full body orgasms, overcome premature ejaculation, and last for hours in bed, so that you can live a healthier, confident, more abundant life, where you have all this radiant sexual energy and sexual confidence, right? So to find more information about that, go to the description of this video on YouTube, go to my Instagram bio. Again, that registration is open until next Monday, the 19th. So check it out. Okay, one last question here. It seems relevant. Now I'm going to jump off here. How do you remove the buildup of pressure from the prostate when moving the sexual energy? Every time I flex my PC muscles now, I pretty much ejaculate, even after waiting days to try again. I don't recommend squeezing the genital muscles. My methods now, I'm using more relaxation. Pressure in the prostate, massaging the perineum, sitting on a tennis ball with it under the soft spot, that will help massage and release some of that pressure. Also moving through the microcosmic orbit. But in general, if you're squeezing your pelvic floor during sex or during sexual stimulation, you're going to cause all this pressure to build up there, and you're going to feel that. So the key is relaxation and using reverse Kegels, where you're pushing out the pelvic floor. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me. Have a great week, and I will see you next time. Take care, guys.